We just talk about the word industry for a second. What does that mean?
The activity is an opportunity for us to integrate reading instruction, numeracy instruction with career exploration.
We're going to analyze graphs to get a sense of what industries are on the rise and what industries are shrinking a little bit.
It's focused on reading a graph and interpreting labor market statistics.
The numbers of jobs?
And the idea is that students get a sense of, do my interests line up with what kinds of jobs are available?
We're going to ask you to do some work before you look at the graph.
Before they look at the graph, we do a prediction guide, which asks students to make predictions about which industries do they think are growing and which are decreasing.
How many leisure and hospitality? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Another prediction they made is which do they think is the largest industry in New York City.
Take a look at all your predictions and just write down 2 things that surprised you about when you looked at the data.
The second part of this activity corresponds to a during reading activity. A common set of questions you can ask are, what surprised you and what questions do you have? You can do that with any text, and in this case we're doing it with a graph.
I was shocked that government was decreasing.
I just didn't expect that at all.
The students are making predictions. There will be surprises, right? Because not every prediction is going to be correct. The thing that's important in this moment when they are looking at the graph for the first time is they're not constrained in how they look at it. Students can react to anything on the page. Because I think what often happens is if you show students a graph and then you ask a very specific set of questions, they may focus in on answering those particular questions, but then they don't understand the whole.
You're coming up with 2 questions that can be answered by the graph.
Students can find an entry point into that graph on their own so that you're proceeding from their understanding rather than from your own.
That's a large percentage.
And it's in that discussion that people start to find clarity through disagreeing with each other a little bit and sort of seeking to explain themselves. It's a way of using assessment to learn, not just to verify that somebody learned something.
The text, the work should challenge people's assumptions and bring them to the next level.
You're making an assumption based on what you think your knowledge is. So then when you get the graph, that is your first challenge to your assumptions.
This graph reading activity can be used in a reading classroom.
A positive number of jobs.
Or it could be used in a math class where there's actually more specific investigation of percent change, for example.
There's a lot of good stuff here.
Reading graphs is an important skill. And when it's connected to the job market and things that students want and need, the students can do more than one thing at a time.
I see more bars in the world.
They're investigating careers, they're connecting that to the real world, and they're also learning academic skills that are necessary for an understanding what can sometimes be difficult.